All right, so we've been spending several days talking about nutrition. We talked about the different macromolecules, what foods have a lot of carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acids. Today we're going to get into the second part of physical health. So we're going to be talking about creating a fitness plan. We're going to use the SMART goal format to kind of formulate that for ourselves. And you will be doing a little bit of exercise, as I warned you guys on your remind messages the last couple of days. We are going to be doing just a quick 5-minute workout that demonstrates flexibility exercise. We'll do a 5-minute one for aerobic and a 5-minute for strength. When we do those exercises, I'll have you guys help me to kind of move the tables out of the way so that we've got this whole big space here where we can work out. Questions for me? Okay. All right, so jumping right in, get our brains thinking. I want you to look at these 3 different athletes up here, and I want you to make a decision. Be ready to explain your decision. Who do you think here is the fittest? Who's in the best shape? All of these people up here are in great shape, but who would you argue is in the best shape? You've had to choose. See, we got some disagreements even when people sit next to each other. See a lot of people for the weightlifter, a lot of people for the soccer player. Okay, I'm going to have you guys now justify this. We're going to do a turn and talk. So I do want you to turn to the person that you're sitting next to, your shoulder partner, and I want you to explain to them who you picked and why, and then give them the opportunity to do the same. Whoever has the shorter hair, go ahead and start first. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds, so to begin now. All right, it sounds like it's getting feisty between some of you guys. I'm going to ask you guys to now share your responses. So who did you argue for and why? I'm going to lock at these responses right now, and we'll see where we are as a class. All right, so very interesting. Only one person said the yoga teacher is in the best shape. We had a lot of people who said messy, but actually the lady weightlifter got the most votes in this class. All right, so let's go to Odalis. Who did you pick and why?
Actually, is
Pretty good. So she was thinking about passion, or he's got the passion plus the fitness. So I love that she's alluding to mental health, right? Mental health is really important too, and he's getting kind of both of those worked out as a professional soccer player. Okay. Also, a lot of people pick the weightlifter. Let's go to Ashley. Why did you say the weightlifter?
Because she has to be like dedicated to like keeping that shape.
Good. So dedication, right? So Messi, right? Maybe in the off season he's not working as much. You're saying to maintain that kind of muscle tone, she would have to just keep going and going and going regularly. Okay, Nicole.
I also picked the lady weightlifter because when you think of the word shape, you think like someone is like has muscles, like they have like the body. So and I picked the weightlifter because she has that shape.
Yeah, she does too. And especially, we talked about this previously, right? That is it more difficult for men or for women to have a 6-pack abs? For women, right? We talked about how, right, women biologically have that additional layer of fat along their abdominal muscles. That's to help support pregnancy, since that burden does fall on women. So it's even harder for them to get to that definition, right? And you can see she has this very thick layer of muscle tone. Okay. All right, and then, sorry to call you out, but let's see here. Jason, you picked the yoga teacher. Why her?
She just looks like she's really flexible.
Yes, like the way that she was able to pretzel her body into that crazy position. I know I couldn't do that. Or I think Messi's amazing. I don't know that he could pretzel his body into that shape either. So she is just amazing at being able to move her body and has this incredible range of motion. So all three of these kind of epitomize the peak performance of these three different types of exercise. So Our Lady Weightlifter is amazing, is really, really strong in terms of strength training, right? She is strong, she can pick up big weights, okay? Bessie has, Orlando was talking with me about this as well, right? That he's at his peak performance for cardiac activity, right? He can like steady his heart rate and breathing rate, and he has that endurance to like run and do that aerobic exercise for long periods of time, right? And then amazing flexibility right here, amazing range of motion, what she can do with her body for our yoga teacher. All right, so let's like take a minute to reflect. What is our current workout routine? I want you to tell me what you do, how often, are you doing it once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, and how much time? Now, if you don't consider yourself a person who regularly exercises, there are a lot of things you can count, right? If you walk to and from school, write that down. If you walk your dog, right, put that down. Right, maybe during the summer you're at the pool all the time, right? You can talk about how in the summer you're doing a lot of training in the pool. So what exercise are you doing? How many days a week? And how many minutes? Are you doing 30 minutes a day, 60 minutes a day? What are you doing? I'm also going to put my workout schedule up here. Right, I don't always hold to this, but ideally this is my goal. Response from everybody. Some of you guys have a push-up routine at night. Exercising at night too, especially before you go to sleep, is a really great way to fall asleep quickly. Helps to clear your mind. Okay, Delilah does a lot. Go ahead and add in how many minutes you do, how often. And then Orlando, I'm not sure if your computer's having a loading issue, but I don't see a response from you yet. Make sure you're getting on there with us. Okay, so you guys can see up here for my workout routine that I try to include all three of these in here, all three of these different types of exercise. So twice a week I'm trying to do yoga for at least 20-30 minutes. My husband and I are doing like a 30-day challenge right now on YouTube. I work out with my best friend. We do jazzercise 3 times a week, so that's a dance class. That also involves like weightlifting, but I'm also getting that cardio where my my heart rate, my breathing is elevated. And then on the weekends, I like to do a longer hike, about 2 hours of hiking. All right, let's see what you guys are doing in here. All right, so people walking, dancing, somebody already doing yoga, swimming, dancing. One person right on it, so they don't even work out. Maybe you're going to start here. I dance almost every day, go to parties that last for 5 hours. Yes, especially if you go to concerts too, right? All that dancing, running, soccer, walking to and from school, running with your mom and dad, that's awesome. That's a whole family affair. Pilates is great. That involves like stretching and then also you're doing your cardio in. You guys are very active. Basketball, soccer, weightlifting and exercise bands, very cool. Okay, so a big question that I get asked in this class a lot is, what are the right goals? So how often are you supposed to be working out, for how long? And then how do you know if you're working out hard enough? I'm going to take a minute right now to get out your notes, if you're writing your notes on a notebook, or if you're using a Google Doc for this course, go ahead and open up your Google Doc. I want you to add in these goals. When you guys are creating your SMART goal for your fitness routine you want to establish, I want you guys to keep these goals in mind. I got to change this. Like most of us are doing notebooks here. Alright, so for frequency, you want to make sure you're working out consistently, right? Ashley pointed that out, right? You gotta have that dedication to work out regularly. Your goal should be at least 3 times a week to get some measure of success out of it. And also like 5 days would be a good max. You should always take off at least 1 day every week to let your body rest. So 3 to 5 times per week is a good goal. Now, if you're doing cardiac exercise where you're breathing and your heart rate are elevated, you want to do at least 30 minutes. And generally a max of 90 minutes is good. If you're a professional athlete, right, you might be doing closer to like hours of work every day. But for most of us, like, we're going to get a really good result from 30 minutes to an hour and a half. Now, for intensity, you always want to push yourself to do a little bit more. Whether that's kind of upping how many push-ups you're doing each week, how fast you're running, or how long you're running for. You want to push to keep improving yourself. So I saw in one of your responses that you're doing 10 push-ups each night before bed. Let's go to Miguel. If I'm doing 10 push-ups every night for the first week of my exercise routine, what could I do in week 2 to push myself? Another 5. Okay, so I'm going to go for 15 push-ups per week, and then the next week maybe I'm going to jump up to 20 push-ups. Let's go to Amir. Let's say I have a running routine, and I decide I'm going to start off easy. I'm going to do 1 mile every day for 5 days. Then the next week, how could I push myself to increase my intensity? Yeah, so maybe I'm going to do 1 mile, and I'm going to do some extra time onto that. Okay. Right, I could also kind of go by distance. Right, so I could do 1 mile, and then the next week, I'm going to try to do 1.5 miles each day. So I'm going to keep pushing. Let's go to Nicole. Let's say I'm doing bicep curls. So I'm doing 3 sets of 15. I'm going to do 15, I'm going to stop, 15, then I'm going to stop, and 15 again. And I'm lifting weights that are 7 pounds each. How can I push for intensity in week 2?
You could add more pounds, like 10 pounds maybe, and then you could do more sets.
Mm-hmm.
Or different.
Yeah, so maybe I'm going to jump up, I'm going to do 4 sets, okay, of 15, or I'm going to do 20 reps. Or like you said, I could jump from 7 pounds up to 8 pounds. Now, generally, you want to kind of push yourself slowly, so you're not causing yourself injury. You want to keep pushing to improve yourself. All right, go ahead and give me a thumbs up when you're done with your notes. I'm going to give you guys 15 more seconds. About 60% of us are done with notes. Okay, so I've got just a few more slides of notes. We're going to focus now on each different type of exercise. We're going to add flexibility to your notes. This is the first one that we're going to try today. We'll do a 5-minute flexibility exercise. So for flexibility, right, these are muscle lengthening exercises that increases your range of motion. So I want you to think of that yoga teacher in that slide before. Right, the way that she was able to kind of pretzel her body into that crazy shape means that like her muscles can stretch to a really, really impressive range of motion. Got very strong flexibility. Now it looks like a couple of you guys do yoga. Maybe tell me what's the name of this position that this comic is showing up here? What is the name of that yoga position? A lot of blank faces. Anybody know? You give me an eye like you might know. you've probably also seen this position where, like, when they're kind of stretching out, they stretch out like this. Right, this is really good for stretching out the muscles in the back of your leg, your calf, your hamstrings, your lower back, and your glutes, right? Your glutes are your butt muscles. So you're stretching out multiple muscle groups in that exercise. Alright, let's jump to aerobic exercise. This is our second of 3. So aerobic exercise should be sustained, right? That means that you're doing the exercise for a while. Most doctors recommend at least 30 minutes. And you know you're doing cardio because your heart rate is going to be elevated, or your heart's going to be beating faster, and your breathing rate's also going to be elevated. You might find yourself panting. So in that first picture, we had our 3 different athletes. I want you to take a minute on your own right now, by yourself. Which athlete kind of best represented aerobic exercise? So they would have to do for a long, enduring time. They're breathing heavy, their heart rate's elevated. Was that the soccer player, the yoga teacher, or the weightlifter? Let's go to Matt. The soccer player, good. So Matt, now running back and forth, down, up that field. Should be breathing heavy. Now you can get some aerobic benefit even from just doing like regular household things. If you're gardening, right, you're constantly like moving your body. It's going to increase your heart rate a little bit. Let's go to Stephanie. If I'm breathing heavy, what am I bringing into my lungs? Good. And what's in the air that I'm taking in? Very good. Yeah, we're bringing in oxygen. And where is that oxygen going? What part of my body am I working? Goes into my lungs, and then my lungs are going to pump it to my heart. And then where does my heart pump it? If I'm like running. What part of my body? Matt, what part of my legs? Hamstring, quads, those are my what? What is it in my body that moves to allow me to run? Your muscles. Yeah, right, we work out with our muscles. So our muscles need oxygen to produce energy. You guys remember back from 9th grade biology that during cellular respiration, right, we take the sugar that's in our food and we bring in oxygen and we convert that into glucose energy. So if we're working out, our muscles need additional oxygen to get the energy that they need to keep working. So that's why the elevated breathing, that's why our heart is pumping faster to get that oxygen to our muscles.